Tropical Africa is endowed with a wealth of plant diversity that needs to be urgently documented for purposes of conservation and sustainable use. This need was identified by botanists working on the plants of this region and led to the formation of the Association of Taxonomic Study of the Flora of Tropical Africa, Aetfat, in 1951. The main goal of the Aetfat Congress is to bring together scholars studying African plants, thus contributing to research and capacity building in botany and biodiversity conservation in the continent.
Aetfat is the Association for the Taxonomic Study of the Flora of Tropical Africa. In simple terms, it's an association of the botanists and ecologists who are interested in the plants of tropical Africa. The idea to form Aetfat was mooted at a meeting in Brussels in Belgium in 1950, where a few scholars, mostly Europeans, who are working on the flora of tropical East Africa or Africa met and decided to form an association to further their objectives. Aetfat provides a platform for its partners and membership not only to catch up on their current research, but also to update each other on the various areas of development that are taking place, as our work is not only done in the field but also in herbaria and museums, and therefore we need to bring together our expertise not only in managing the knowledge but also managing the museum collections as well as the information emanating from them.
Aetfat, therefore, helps to build capacity in plant taxonomy for use and conservation, as well as provide important data in monitoring traffic in plant species in an effort to mitigate for illegal trade.
This organization of botanists is a very old one that started in 1951. Studies in botany have resulted in documentation of the country's plant diversity, currently represented by 7,004 vascular plant species. Premier institutions that have a long history have come together to try and host an international conference that is not only useful to science, it is also useful to the development of this nation.
The membership of Aetfat is currently over 1,000 plant scientists drawn from all over the world, brought together by shared interests in the botany of tropical Africa. It promotes global cooperation to advance its science and nurture upcoming researchers in the discipline.
Aetfat is actually very instrumental because, first of all, it's a platform where taxonomists and ecologists and anybody working in plants can be able to give their findings, can learn, can network with other members. And it's also a place where upcoming scientists can learn and get the tools of trade.
The Aetfat Congress takes place once in 3 years and addresses issues that regard classification, documentation, and presentation of plants. With the first meeting being held in 1951, the Association for the Taxonomic Study of the Flora of the Tropical Africa has been working on the conservation of flora around the world. Kenya hosted this Aetfat Congress for the first time, with the National Museum and the University of Nairobi jointly facilitating the Congress. The 21st Congress showcased a series of events regarding taxonomic studies.
The University of Nairobi is honored to co-host this conference with the National Museums of Kenya. The theme of the 21st Congress at Aetfat, which reads Systematics by Geography and Conservation of African Plants and Fungi, is very relevant, coming at an important time in the history of Africa.
The Aetfat Congress directly supports the host nation's economy through conferencing and marketing of the attractions on offer for general tourism. The Aetfat conference specifically targets audiences from scientists and academics and indirectly impacts conservationists, bioprospectors, suppliers and service providers to science and pesticide and hygiene industry. Over the last century, sporadic and opportunistic collections have been made in many parts of the world and preserved collections from elsewhere in the region. Kenya is a biologically rich country with over 7,010 taxa of vascular plants, in addition to numerous and undocumented non-vascular plants. Over the last century, sporadic and opportunistic collections have been made in many parts of the country and preserved at the East African Herbarium, and together with collections from elsewhere in the region.
The Central Africa Joint Research Center of the Chinese Academy of Sciences is honored to participate in the 21st Congress of Aetfat as a sponsor. This underscores the strong collaboration with the National Museums of Kenya established their Memorandum of Understanding signed in July 2014.
It has been, however, difficult to analyze the diversity of species at national and country levels. Scientists continue to discover new species of vascular plants, and this indicates a gap in taxonomic studies and geographical coverage of exploration initiatives.
Let's look at Renialmia, Singiberaceae. So together with my colleague Jean-Baptiste Etchouvi from DR Congo, we tried to check all the species which are known from tropical Africa, of course combined from herbarium work and field work. Many of these species are quite local endemics as far as we know and may be threatened potentially. Then we have the real Lindernia. So first it came up that the Linderniaceae are a monophyletic group, now widely accepted in the taxonomic community.
50 million years ago, Africa was covered by forest. And from that forested landscape, we've had forests shrinking, and we've had evolution of open systems, with what we call savannas. And even when we think about those forests are not just forests. The Kakamega forest is an element of the lowland forest we have in West Africa, whereas the forest around Nairobi and as you go up onto Mount Kenya are part of the montane system. Yet if you go to the coast, the area around Malindi and so, and stretching down to Durban, you're getting an element of coastal forest, which perhaps is very different from even the lowland forest in West Africa. Africa is rich. Africa has about 45,000 species of plants, quite a number of hotspots. Africa is unique in that we have diverse climate and geology.
Ethiopia's second largest foreign exchange earner, in which it's shipped to major consumers of Djibouti as well as Somalia. So here in Kenya, grown in a very distinctive manner. Typically the trees are trained downward using string and weights. And it's plucked at a very young stage in contrast to the Ethiopian Mairunji.
Using again the woody plants in southern Africa, I mapped bad spots for all the trees. Someone mentioned that they will donate higher to protect species C because it sustains a very long branch on this phylogenetic tree. And so this illustration alone captures what is known as evolutionary distinctiveness. Using again the woody plants in southern Africa, I mapped biodiversity hotspots for all the trees in southern Africa.
We are clocking over 50 different species, meaning that there's a lot to be done. But at least looking at the general level, you find my specialty group, Caelogenus, they have the highest numbers.
The impact of invasive species and how we can try to reverse the trend and a few lessons that you learned. So Mauritius is a small island in the middle, in the Indian Ocean, volcanic, quite short and quite small. So we have a lot of different types of vegetation as well, from the coastal areas to the marsh uplands, dry forest. And we have been working to see how was this forest in the past. The ecosystems in Mauritius, they were relatively stable until people arrived.
It is evident Africa and the East African region has encountered changes in its ecological system. The vegetation in the major forests indicates that African numerous species of plants call for further research. Hell's Gate National Park is an integral part of Kenya's heritage that lies south of Lake Naivasha, northwest of Nairobi. Hell's Gate National Park is named after a narrow break in the cliffs, once a tributary of a prehistoric lake that fed early humans in the Rift Valley. The plant species found in this national park are an essential part of the environment and a source of national heritage.